Hi everyone, in today's video I wanted to show you all how I use this beautiful little gathering foot. It is for the Serger. Some brother Sergers, or I should say all of them, come with this foot. I don't know about any other brands, but this little piece right here is going to be a lifesaver if you need to gather and attach a lot of pieces. I've been making halters like non-stop. I've lost count and I wanted to find a way that'll make it even quicker. You know, I'm all about those quick and dirty methods. So for today's demonstration, we are going to pretend that this is a bodice, or you know, something that we need a gathered piece attached to. And we're going to pretend that this bottom is our piece that we are gathering. Now, this method will work for everything pretty much, but if you're just beginning, I would start out with a pattern that has a rectangular bottom, if that makes sense. Something like, you know, I don't know if you've seen my halter peplums, but they don't necessarily have a pattern piece for the bottom. It's just a huge long rectangle, if that makes sense. But eventually, once you get the math down right, you will be able to gather the bottoms of, you know, something like an alley cat romper or a bubble romper, or a specific, you know, maybe like a U-shaped peplum. I don't know, something that's a specific pattern piece that you need cut out. It'll work for this, but for today's purposes I just want to show you some of the basics of this little foot. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to be making a lot of halter peplums with this, and normally what I do is I fold my fabric this way, so the width of the fabric this way, and I just cut lots of strips. I have about, I don't know, like 20 of these strips just ready to go for all my halters. But again, we're just going to work with a quick demonstration here with these fabrics. So let's go ahead and head on to the serger now. Okay, so here we are at my serger. I did go ahead and take off the normal foot that you use with this machine. This is, again, the brother serger. Whoa. Whoa, excuse me. Anyways. So here is the foot, and it's just really easy to attach. What I like to do is push on the foot pedal up. Sorry, I'm still recovering from my cough. Anyways, and then you just push the little button in the back so it attaches, and then you're good to go. So the only thing that I'm going to be changing as far as settings are my needles. I usually keep them around 4. These are my usual settings for just about everything. But we're going to move it up to about a 5.5. We're going to be a little generous, not too much. And then my differential, which is this one right here, you can see all my mess in the back, is going to go up to 2. And everything else will remain the same. Okay. So now that we did that, I'm going to show you the next step, which is really easy. We're almost done. So remember how I said this is going to be our pretend bodice fabric, and this is our pretend ruffle at the bottom. So what you're going to do is the print is going to be facing you. Let's see if I can get a better angle here. The print is going to be facing you, and then what you're going to do is put it underneath the entire foot, so it goes underneath everything. And I like to put my lever up a little bit so that I can get some good wiggle room in there. Now while that is there, I'm placing it right where the needles are starting. And then we're going to take our bodice fabric and sandwich it together by putting it in here, and we're doing right sides together. And then I'm also putting it near the needles. And then I'm just going to put my lever down, and it's ready to go. Now, what you need to do for this is just make sure that the fabrics are lining up together. I just like to hold one in each hand and go. So I'm going to hold it here and here just so we can get it caught in there and all started. So let me do that first. Once you get a good grip on it, you can let this hand go and then go focus over here to make sure that everything's lining up. You could push everything so that the bottom fabric is here in the edge and the top fabric is here in this edge of the foot. Oh, and I forgot to mention my knife is off, but I'm just going to line it up with the knife just over here. And you don't want to hold the bottom fabric tight at all because you want it to let it freely gather up. So I'm going to hold the top one and the bottom loosely, but enough to guide it so that it's not shifting all the way over here, you know what I mean? And you just keep going. And then once you're almost to the end, just make sure that you don't lose the top fabric. Now I'm going to show y'all what it looks like. So I don't know if you can tell, let me see. As you can see, the bottom fabric has been gathered. I don't know if you can see those gathers. Let me see if this is focusing. The bottom fabric is all gathered up. It was a more loose gather, I want to say. So if you want a tighter gather, you can definitely up your settings. And then the top fabric is nice and intact. This is how I like my gathers, you know, not too loose, but also not too tight to save on fabric, because what I'm going to do next is, if this were an actual piece, I'm just going to snip the rest of this off, and then I would continue on. Or actually what I would do is put on my next bodice piece. I tend to do a lot of the same item, so I would do one bodice and then do another one and another one for as long as the strip will allow me to. Again, I'm going to be doing the width of the fabric, but now I'm going to undo this and show you a tighter gather if that's what you're looking for. Okay, so I undid my stitches for y'all, and now all we're going to do is increase our needles. So that was like a subtle gather, I guess you would call it. And now we're going to go for a bigger one. So instead of 5.5, I'm going to go all the way to 7 and a tick, whatever you want to call it. You can go as high as you want. And again, once you get good at this, you can actually do the math and say measure this piece and see how short it gets, so that you know maybe it's like a 2 times gather or a 3 times gather, you know what I mean? So again, we're going to place the fabric that we want gathered on the bottom and the supposed piece that you're attaching it to on the top. And again, you just slide it in between. And I'm trying to make sure that it starts right at the needles, and then I put my foot down. Okay, so now I'm just going to zoom through this to show y'all. Again, this is just a practice run. I can already feel the bottom fabric moving faster. I stopped it a little before, but anyways, here you can definitely see how ruffly this got. How gathered-y, ruffly. I swear I know these terms, I just don't know how to describe-ish when I'm looking at it. Okay, but hopefully you can see this is a lot more gathered, you know, we're left with not as long of a piece in the end. So again, it just depends what you're looking for, and hopefully this video helped you out. That's really honestly it. And yeah, I'm excited to make all my halters faster, because seriously, I've been making so many and I've been having to gather and then attach, and it's like this whole thing. So definitely a time saver here, especially if you have a shop. And go get yourself one of these feet if you don't have it. If your machine didn't come with it, I'm sure it'll work for other ones. Like I said, this was a generic one. I don't know if I mentioned that. I lost the original and this is a generic one. But anyways, before I make this too long, that's it for this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.